All right, let's dive in. We're going to decode the entire world of digital currency. It's a topic that's changing absolutely everything, from how you grab your morning coffee all the way up to the global financial system. We're going to cut through all the noise and really understand the tech that makes it all tick, from the digital money you're already using to the wild world of crypto and the blockchain. Let's get into it. But before we get into all the super high-tech stuff, let's just pause for a second and ask a really basic question. What even is money? At its core, it's just a tool, right? A tool we use to trade for stuff. But what it looks like, and more importantly, how it works, that is changing in a massive way. For most of history, money meant something physical: coins, banknotes, things you could actually hold in your hand, all controlled by big central banks. But here's the thing: most of the money out there today isn't sitting in some vault. It's digital. It's just ones and zeros on a bank's computer. Every time you tap your card or use an app, you're using digital money. So in a way, we're already living in the future. So here's our game plan. We'll start with the digital money we're already familiar with, then we'll get into the huge difference between centralized and decentralized systems. After that, we'll go deep inside the blockchain, take a look at some actual cryptocurrencies, and then finish up by exploring all the impacts: the good, the bad, and the ugly. First up, money in the digital age. And like I said, this isn't science fiction, it's the world we're in right now. When you get a direct deposit from your job or you send a friend money for lunch, there's no physical cash moving around. It's all electronic signals, managed and double-checked by institutions we trust, like our banks. It's fast, it's familiar, but it all depends on one central authority calling the shots. And that idea, that reliance on a central authority, brings us to the absolute heart of the matter. It's the core conflict in this whole new world of money. Who should be in control? This really boils down to two completely different ways of thinking: centralized versus decentralized. And this image, well, it says it all. Over on one side, you've got the centralized system. Think of a traditional bank. Every single transaction has to go through that one hub in the middle. But look at the other side. That's a decentralized peer-to-peer network. Everyone is connected to everyone else. There's no single point of control, and maybe more importantly, no single point of failure. Let's break that down even more. In a centralized system, you've got a regulator, a central bank, or a government. The official record of who owns what is kept on a private bank ledger. And all your trust, it's placed in that institution. But in a decentralized system, there is no regulator. The record is a public, shared ledger that everyone can see. And your trust isn't in a company. It's in the computer code and the strength of the network itself. So how on earth can you trust a bunch of code more than you trust a bank? That is the question, isn't it? And the answer leads us straight into our next topic: inside the blockchain. This is the breakthrough technology that makes this whole idea of decentralized money even possible. You see, the real genius of the blockchain is something called a distributed ledger. Now, unlike a bank's private records, this is a shared history of every single transaction that's ever happened. It's copied and spread across a massive network of computers all over the world. And because there's no single official version, it's almost impossible for anyone to go back and secretly change something. That's what makes it so incredibly secure. So how does it actually work? Well, it all starts when you decide to send some money. That transaction data gets bundled into a block and is then broadcast out to the whole network. Then, other computers, we call them nodes, all work to verify that your transaction is legit. Once enough of them agree, that block gets a unique digital seal and is literally chained to the block before it, creating a permanent, unbreakable link. Then, that brand new, updated version of the chain gets sent back out to everybody, so everyone's records are in sync. You're probably wondering, though, why would anyone use their own computer and electricity to verify transactions for a bunch of strangers? Well, there's a huge incentive, and it's called mining. The network actually rewards the people who do this verification work with brand new coins. This is literally how new cryptocurrency is created and put into circulation. And that brings us to the most famous use of blockchain technology: cryptocurrency. To make this feel a little less abstract, let's look at two of the big ones: Bitcoin and Litecoin. Bitcoin, of course, is the original gangster. It's the one that started this whole revolution. Its supply is famously capped at 21 million coins. That was done on purpose to prevent inflation. Litecoin came along a bit later, and it was designed to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. It's built for speed, processing transactions about 4 times faster. The trade-off is that its mining method is a little more complex. It also has a bigger supply, capped at 84 million coins. Okay, let's zoom out. We've talked about the how, but let's get to the so what. In this last section, we're going to look at the real-world consequences of this whole technological shift, the impacts, the risks, and the rewards. For you and me, for individuals, this is really a double-edged sword. On one hand, cryptocurrencies can be an incredibly high-risk, unpredictable investment. And once you make a transaction, it's irreversible. You send money to the wrong address, it is gone. And this is the big one. If you lose your private key, that's basically the password to your digital wallet, your money is lost forever. There's no one to call, there's no bank to help you out. For businesses, though, the potential is absolutely massive. Blockchain makes things called smart contracts possible. These are basically agreements that execute themselves automatically once certain conditions are met. No lawyers, no middlemen. This could totally automate complex deals, create foolproof digital escrows, and make sending money internationally way faster and more secure. And this might be one of the most exciting parts. Think about developing countries. For the billions of people out there who don't have access to a bank, a simple smartphone can suddenly become their bank. It can make sending money home from another country so much faster and cheaper. And it's a heck of a lot safer than carrying around big wads of cash.
But you can probably guess that governments have some pretty serious concerns about all this. I mean, the whole idea of a decentralized system is a direct threat to a central bank's control over money. These transactions are really hard to regulate, to track, and to tax. And a lot of them worry that if this grows too fast without any rules, it could cause some major economic instability.
So look, it's pretty clear that digital currency in one form or another is here to stay. It's already how most of us live our lives. But as we keep moving forward, the real debate isn't if digital currency is going to be a part of our future. The real question is, who gets to write the rules? Is it going to be the established central banks and governments? Or is it going to be the decentralized networks of users themselves? That's the battle that is going to define the future of money.